Once upon a time there was a friendly monster named Gobo who lived in a cave in the woods. Gobo loved taking long naps and eating apples from the nearby apple orchard. Every day Gobo would wake up, stretch his long arms and legs, and head out of his cave to get some fresh air and sunshine. One morning, Gobo woke up feeling extra hungry. He headed out to the apple orchard, but when he got there, he discovered all of the apples were gone. "Oh no," cried Gobo, "now what will I eat for breakfast?" Gobo thought for a minute, then had an idea. He would go into town and buy something yummy from the bakery. Gobo walked down the winding forest path that led to town. He passed by cute cottages and farms along the way, waving hello to the villagers working outside. When Gobo got into town, he headed straight for the bakery, which had a cheerful yellow storefront and a sign that read, "Madame Boulangeri's Bakery." Inside, the bakery was full of fresh breads, pies, cakes and cookies. Gobo's mouth began to water as he looked around. There were chocolate chip cookies, apple pies, cinnamon rolls, and more. Gobo stepped up to the counter to place his order. "One chocolate chip cookie, please," he said politely to the baker. As the baker turned to grab a cookie, the people in the bakery caught sight of Gobo and panicked. "Monster!" screamed one woman. "Help, it's going to eat us," yelled a man. The baker turned back around and saw Gobo standing there. "Ah," she shouted. "Get out of here, you'll scare away my customers." The baker picked up a broom and began swatting Gobo, trying to shoo him out of the bakery. "Hey, stop that," cried Gobo as the baker swatted at him. "I just want to buy a cookie, I'm not going to hurt you." But the people were too frightened to listen. They pushed and shoved at Gobo until he had no choice but to leave the bakery. Gobo's feelings were very hurt. "All I wanted was something yummy for breakfast," he said sadly. His tummy rumbled loudly. Gobo decided to go pick some berries in the forest to eat instead. Gobo spent the morning wandering through the lush forest, munching on juicy blackberries, blueberries, and raspberries. But soon his belly began rumbling again. The berries hadn't filled him up. As Gobo wandered back towards town, he passed by a farm. He watched a plump hen pecking around the yard. "Oh, a nice fresh egg would really hit the spot," said Gobo. He walked up to the farmhouse and knocked on the door. A woman answered the door, took one look at Gobo, and slammed the door shut again. "Go away, monster," she shouted from behind the closed door. Gobo's stomach growled sadly. "I just want an egg to eat," he explained through the door. "I'm awfully hungry." But no matter how much he pleaded and begged, the woman refused to come back to the door. Gobo scuffled away from the farmhouse, feeling even more hungry and even more sad. Gobo decided to head down to the river, where he could at least get a nice drink of fresh water to fill his empty tummy. But when he got there, a group of children were playing in the shallows. As soon as they saw Gobo approaching, they scrambled out of the water. "It's the scary monster," cried one boy. "Run," shouted a girl. The children all ran away screaming, leaving Gobo standing there feeling confused. "I just want some water to drink," said Gobo sadly. His big round belly rumbled loudly once more. Gobo cupped some water from the river in his giant hands and slurped it up. The cool water soothed his throat, but did nothing to quiet the hungry noises from his stomach. Feeling hopeless and hungry, Gobo wandered back towards the woods. He passed by the bakery again, and the wonderful smells wafting out made his mouth water. He thought about trying to go back inside again, but he knew they would just kick him out once more. As Gobo sulked past the open bakery door, he heard a loud chomp. He turned to see a giant wild boar gobbling up a pile of sweet treats behind the bakery. The huge pig had broken into the back door and was stuffing its face full of all the tasty pastries and baked goods. "Stop, thief," cried Gobo. Though he was hungry himself, he knew it was wrong for the wild boar to steal all the baker's hard work and treats. The boar ignored Gobo and kept feasting. So Gobo ran up to the boar and pushed it away from the treats. "Shoo, pig," he yelled. "Get out of here." Startled, the boar squealed loudly and ran off, disappearing into the forest again. Just then, the baker came outside. My goodness, she exclaimed, seeing the half-eaten pile of ruined pastries. Something has made a big mess of my tasty treats. Then the baker saw Gobo standing there. A look of gratitude washed over her face. Did you chase that boar away and save my bakery? She asked Gobo. Gobo nodded bashfully. I'm very sorry for hitting you with my broom earlier, said the baker. You were just trying to buy a cookie. Please, come inside and I'll give you a whole basket of my delicious pastries as thanks for your help. Gobo's face lit up with joy. He followed the baker back inside the bakery, where she piled high a basket with cookies, pies, cakes and more. Thank you, exclaimed Gobo. His tummy rumbled happily at the sight of all the yummy foods. The baker laughed. I think your tummy is ready for these treats, she said. Gobo thanked the baker again and then headed out of the village, back towards his cave in the woods. Once home in his cozy cave, Gobo snuggled up with his basket of goodies. He spent the rest of the day enjoying the tasty bakery treats, finally satisfying his rumbly tummy. He thought about how wrong the villagers had been about him. Even though he looked like a monster, he had a kind heart and would never hurt anyone. From then on, the villagers didn't judge Gobo by his looks alone. They got to know him and realized he was a very nice monster who loved snacks just as much as anyone.